Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're all having a great day today. Well, one of my favorite Japanese-made Super Teles just got a big update. Let's check it out. Yes, welcome back you guys. As you can see, I've got a VOLA in the studio. This is the brand new version of the VOLA Vasti. So they've made some big changes to this model, some things I've been requesting, and I'm sure some things you guys have been requesting. So let's jump in and find out what's new. Now, when I first played a VOLA, I had no idea what to expect. I had seen their guitars on Instagram and knew they had this kind of really cool modern body shape and headstock shape. So I thought, well, it's made in Japan. It's gonna be like a high-end Ibanez or ESP. It's gonna shred my face off. But when I got hands-on time with the previous model, I realized, well, there's some pretty traditional aspects. It had traditional style tuning machines, a rounder neck profile, and some low output sweet sounding pickups. Well, for the latest version, they've tweaked a few things. So this model is the V3 or the version 3 of the Vasti. Now the Vasti is VOLA's take on sort of a T-style layout with the pickups and three-way switch. It's got a few little tricks. We'll talk about that in a second. But what are the big changes? Well, thankfully they've been listening to their customers and made some changes that I wanted to see as well. So really happy that they've been listening to people. So first big change, well, they've gone from vintage inspired tuning machines to vintage inspired lockers. Yes, we get locking tuning machines. Love to see it on guitars like this. And they've kind of kept, kind of the look of that vintage tuners, but you get full lockers. And they are staggered in height. So the ones closer to the nut are taller and the ones down here are a little bit lower. So love to see that. So some pretty high-end tuning machines. You also get to keep, yes, the bone nut. So the previous model also had the bone nut. Love to see that they kept that. It's great. Now the next big change had to do with the neck profile. This was a huge request from a ton of people, and I don't know if it was just because the guitar looks so modern. People were expecting a pretty fast neck. And the previous model, I actually like thicker necks, so I had no problems with it, but I do love this, and I think it suits the guitar better, and I think it's gonna suit a lot of players better as well. So it's almost, impossible to show this kind of stuff on camera, but I'll see if I can. But there's a definite flattening on the back. So it's much more sort of a D shape than a C shape in my mind, because it does have really shallow shoulders and then goes into sort of a flatter neck profile. So it's not like, Ibanez Wizard kind of territory, but it is just fast and smooth, satin finish on this as well. So it just plays like a dream. So high-end locking tuners, that's a win. Bone nut, absolutely fantastic. New slimmer neck profile, with a satin finish. You love to see it. Now, what's the next thing I'm going to look for as I tour through guitars? Well, it's going to be the contoured heel joint. So what do we have on the Vasti? The previous one had sort of a traditional square joint. Yes, we got it. One of my most requested features for sure. We got contours like crazy on the back now. This guitar is surprisingly light too. I'm going to throw it on the scale after this. We'll check it out. But just kind of like holding it, I can tell it's probably around 7 pounds. But anyway, yes, look at this rounded heel joint with a massive scoop here. So, you can nestle your hand kind of up in this area much easier without getting kind of like that sharp point into the palm of your hand. So yes, this was a huge requested feature. And yeah, they knocked it out of the park. This is awesome. And of course, you still get the belly scoop and stuff. So very, very comfortable. I should mention the string ferrules are also flush. I always love to see that as well. So yeah, as I mentioned, let's throw it on the scale and see how much this weighs. Now, I haven't weighed the guitar yet, but I'm calling 7 pounds. It feels right in that Goldilocks zone. So here we go. Let's throw it on the scale and see what comes up. So 6.8 pounds seems to be right where it's settled. That's awesome. So anytime you're under 7 pounds, that is a light guitar. So super happy with that. And I gotta say it balances really well. So anytime you have that combination of like comfort cuts, right around 7 pounds, and, you know, balances, no headstock dive, man, that's an ergonomic win. A guitar like that is going to be, you know, great fun to play. So those were the main highlights of the guitar. I will link to it in the video description below. You can check out the full detailed spec list down there. Well, it's time to plug it in and test out some tones. Gotta say, I do love this candy apple red. There's a good sparkle to it. So love the finish. Anyway, let's plug it in and test out some of the tones. Now, as you guys know, the bridge pickup of a T-style guitar is one of the iconic tones in rock music. And here's where the Vasti has a little trick up its sleeve. If you just leave the guitar, you know, in its normal mode, add a little grit, well, it takes you right there. Sounds like this. Right? Sounds awesome. Now what you can do is actually pull out on here. Normally when you split your coil, you pull out, but on the Vasti, it's already pre-split. So it gives you that Telecaster twang right out of the box. And if you want something kind of more heavy or hum canceling, you just pull out on your volume. And I don't know if you can hear that, but all the hum is gone. And we'll just switch back and forth here, kind of playing the same thing. And we go back to the normal mode. So as you can hear, when you kind of go to the full rails, well, it definitely gives you a big boost. You know, much more twangy in its normal mode, right? Now, of course, having the rail pickup in the back definitely lets you play with a lot more gain than a regular Telecaster, and of course, without any hum. So, I mean, that's such a welcome feature. Now, as for the neck pickup, well, it's classic Fender through and through. Let's take a listen. You know, all that bright, you know, bell-like chime, you know, that people use to describe Fender single coils, it's all here. You know, it's a great sounding pickup. And then when we go into the middle and maybe play something similar, you know, you get a little bit more of that quack. You know, so again, a great single coil, kind of middle quacky sound. And then when we add the full humbucker, it just adds a little bit more grit to it, I guess. So, you know, normally it's split, gives you a little bit more cut to it. And then in the bridge, and this is just the split coil, again, nice jangly Fender tone. And then when we add the full humbucker, again, The 60 cycle hum is gone. You know, and you get a bunch more sustain and a boosted signal as you would expect. So those are kind of like the main tones. So I love the fact that whatever pickup they used in here splits super awesome so that it sounds great on its own. In middle position sounds fantastic as well. And then the neck pickup, they just put in like a classic, you know, beautiful kind of low output pickup that can cover all you need to do. So surprisingly versatile for a guitar like this. All right, you guys, now let's play over a backing track. Link to the track, as always, is in the video description below. You can check it out there. It's time for the 1 minute solo. So now let's talk about the overall construction. Now the first thing I want to mention is, well, it's made in Japan. Now admittedly, I do have a thing for Japanese made guitars, but over all the years and in my private collection, I own quite a few Japanese guitars, and I've never ever had a bad one, ever. And I think that just speaks to the overall quality control of guitars coming out of Japan. And this guitar is no exception. When we look at the nut, you know, it's a bone nut, it's cut really well, the strings don't hang up on it, it's great. When we look at the fretwork on the fret faces, shiny and beautiful, you know, attention to details there. It just is. And when we look at the fret ends as well, up high, down low, great quality overall. Neck joint is snug as anything, all the contours, the finishing, all the detail work. This is a great guitar, absolutely. So I think, you know, at least for me, when I see that made in Japan, well, it's not a guarantee, it's a pretty safe bet. And the VOLA is, you know, right up there with, my other Japanese made guitars. So really, really nicely made. And as I mentioned, incredibly light, nicely balanced. I guess you guys won't be able to see that, but there's definitely no headstock. The headstock just stays where you put it. So, I mean, 7 pounds, lightweight. I do like the slimmer neck profile on a guitar like this. You know, I think if it was more of a traditional Fender, I might go for like the baseball bat neck, but for a guitar that looks like this, and especially when you pull out on there and give yourself that hum canceling boost, you can play some really kind of modern stuff on this and just feel at home. So here are my final thoughts on the V3 Vasti. Now, as you guys know, I liked the previous version. It was lightweight, it was balanced, it had a good complement of tones, and the V3 pretty much takes that up to the next level in every way. Locking tuners, at least for me, are a must in this price range, so love to see that. The revamped neck profile is thinner and faster, and I think it suits this guitar a little bit better, so great. And as I mentioned, the previous version was light and balanced, and you throw in some extra contours, and you've got yourself a great playing guitar. And in the end, finding an instrument that's lightweight, that's balanced, that has great playability is just going to make you want to pick up and play your guitar more. So I think overall, this whole design is a little bit more refined than the previous model, and it's a better playing experience. Now, in terms of what I'd like to see in the future, well, they just released this, but why not? I'd love to see a version that also has a rail pickup in the neck. So you can just go very simple, like 3-way switch, humbuckers, rock your smooth and creamy neck humbucker tones, and then just split it and go back to your Tele tones. So I do love to have this in the bridge, but I'd love to have an option for that in the neck as well, maybe on a little sub model or something like that. But overall, yeah, really love the tones on this guitar. The playability is taken up to the next level. So yeah, well done for this newer version. So I will link to it in the video description below. You guys can check out all the specs on the guitar I forgot to mention in this demo. You can check it out down there. Other than that, hope you guys enjoyed the demo. Take care.